It's the Joseph Bristol Show.
Welcome to another episode of the Joseph Bristol Show. On today's episode, we're gonna talk a little bit about something that most people find a little controversial, which is college. And I just want to talk about why I think college is for everyone. Everyone should go to college. Everyone should have a degree. In which case, associate's degrees are typically, let's just run through that first though. So typically the way that college would work is you would go to college, you would go to get an associate's degree. It should take about 2 years, depending on how many classes you're taking every single semester. So you got 2 years for an associate's, 4 years for a bachelor's, 6 years for a master's, 8 years for a doctoral degree. Probably longer than 8 years, but somewhere around that, right? Again, depending on the amount of credits that you're taking per semester. And then, of course, depending on what you're trying to do, you're going to go into school much longer than the typical 8 years. Because if you're trying to be a doctor, then it's like 4 and then 8 on top of the 4. Because you got to get a bachelor's before you can get into medical school. Same thing for like being a lawyer. I think it's like 4 years, and then you got to get into law school. So those typically take a little bit longer. But I'm not even going to really talk about that. What I want to talk about is why college is for everyone. Everyone watching this video who doesn't have a degree or is thinking about, oh, I'm not going to college. I'm going to be a hairstylist or, a makeup artist. Like, that's what I'm going to do for all my life. Like, no. You should go to college. You should get a degree. And at minimum, you should get an associate's degree. Associate's degree should be, I guess, like the high school diploma of higher learning. Everyone should have one, right? The same way that when I was growing up, having a high school diploma was something, right? It was like frowned on if you had a GED, because it's like, well, why didn't you finish school? And me personally, I don't have a degree. I am currently in college trying to get my associate's degree, which is a failure on my part because I was actually 16 and I was in college. I went to a special program. I did a special program at school. I had a scholarship and all that stuff, but I got caught up in, with my friends in the street and went to jail and lost my scholarship, got kicked out of school, and then life started happening. I had a kid and just a bunch of stuff just kept happening over and over and over again. So I kept pushing it back. But ever since I moved to Fort Pierce, I have said to myself, I'm going to get my degree. So I just started paying for my classes because I lost my financial aid due to being kicked out of school and failing my classes. So I had to pay for classes to bring up my GPA so that financial aid would then pay for my classes, in which case I took one class every single semester until financial aid started paying, and then I jumped into 3 classes, 4 classes a semester to try to get my degree, right? So I just wanted to spit that out. I know people like to say, well, why don't you have a college degree if you're telling other people to get a college degree? Trust me, I am working on it. God willing, next year I will actually have my degree, God willing. And if not next year, then the year after next. But I will get a degree, and then I'm just going to progress. So my goal is really to get a bachelor's degree in software engineering. That's really my goal, so that I can make and develop apps and things like that. In which case you actually don't need a degree to make and develop apps. You can take a coding class or just self-learn and things like that. But I prefer the degree. I want to get into why college is for everybody, why I think everyone should go to college, right? So to me, one of the main reasons why everyone should go to college is to learn different things, learn new subjects, learn about, subjects that you thought you knew about, but maybe you didn't quite understand. And college is actually going to give you that extra knowledge, that extra boost that you need. So one of the first things that I learned in college math class was, what is a number, right? In which case, most people will tell you a number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But that's not a number. You know what I mean? A number, as defined in our language and our understanding, is a unit of measurement. That's the definition of what is a number. So if someone asks you what is a number, you would say it's a unit of measurement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are units of measurements. We're measuring, I don't know, time or inches or lengths or whatever, but those are units of measurement, right? So that's what a number is. That's just a quick college lesson, but that's one of the things that I like about college, is that you learn different subjects, you learn different things, you can expand your knowledge on specific things. Maybe you wanted to learn something, you can take classes on that and learn about that. Maybe you didn't think that you wanted to learn something until you actually had to take that class. You learned something from that class, and now you can take that same knowledge and use it somewhere else. Also great for brain exercising. As you know, your brain is a muscle. It needs to be worked out. It needs to be exercised. So college is going to exercise your brain. It will work your brain so that your brain can stay young and vibrant and actively critically think. There's not enough critical thinking in our society. Too many people don't take the time to critically think about stuff. You know what I mean? So college will help you to learn how to think correctly, because there is a correct way to think, to process information, and college will help you to discover that way that you could potentially think. So another good benefit about college for people who choose to leave their house and go live on college campuses, another good thing about that is that usually that's like somebody's first time living alone. Well, not really living alone, because you have a roommate in your dorm, but that is a great experience, right? A lot of people, they live at home with their parents. Let me not say that they don't ever leave home. They do eventually leave home, but usually when they move out to go live with, you know, their spouse, or sometimes their friends, you know, rarely their siblings and things like that. But living with some stranger, living with somebody that you didn't know, can be beneficial. It can also be very, very dangerous, but it can be beneficial in the sense that it'll teach you different methods of dealing with people, different ways to understand people and how to get along with them and how to share space with other people, which is a great benefit to each and every single one of us in our ability to, you know, cooperate and understand other human life, right? So that's another great benefit of going to college. Another thing I really like about college, in which case I'm just going to keep saying, you know, I like this and that and so on and so forth. So another great thing and another reason why everyone should go to college is it gives you daily purpose, right? So it's different from going to work and having your daily purpose be, well, I got to go to work. Your daily purpose be, I got to take care of my kids. I got to feed my kids. It's different when your daily purpose becomes, I have to finish my schoolwork. I have to get the schoolwork done and get the best grade I can possibly get. One, so I can maintain my financial aid. Two, so that I can have a good grade, a high GPA, which will get me into other better colleges, depending on how far you want to go with your extended knowledge. And it's great to be able to say that I accomplished this thing. Right. So one thing about having a job is there isn't really like a sense of accomplishment, right? Because, you know, let's say you're a lawyer, right? And your job is to defend clients. Every single client, you should be trying to beat the case. It should never be like, well, this is my client and maybe he's going to go to prison. Some of them will go to prison, some of them won't. No. Every doctor who goes to work is not in his mindset like, you know, oh, well, that guy's going to die today. No. In his mind, he's thinking, how can I help my patients? What can I do to ensure that all my patients live prosperous, healthy lives? How can I extend their lives? How can I prevent them from dying? So on and so forth, right? And I guess that in and of itself is an accomplishment, but school accomplishment is very different, because it's like every day you're looking forward to this accomplishment. It's like, you know, for a fact, as long as I do this schoolwork, as long as I get this done, then I'm going to get a degree. I will be able to say I did that, I accomplished that, which kind of goes into the next thing about college, right? A lot of people think, well, it's just a piece of paper, it's not that important, it doesn't mean anything. It means a lot. Having a college degree shows a couple of things. One, it shows that you know what you say that you know, right? So if I say, you know, I know about electrical wires, that certificate, not certificate, but degree, that degree will show that I know what I'm talking about. I'm certified in this field, right? Another thing that the college degree does for you is it tells people you can finish what you start. That's like the biggest thing about going to college. Getting that degree says to people this person will finish what they start. Because everyone understands that life happens. If you're going to college for 2 years to get an associate's degree, anything can happen in those 2 years. Your mom die, your dad die, your grandma die, your kid die. You know what I'm saying? You get hit by a car, you lose your leg. I'm talking a lot of things can happen in just the span of 6 months. 2 years, a lot of things can happen. And for you to still be able to say that you got a degree, regardless of what was happening in your life, that matters to people. People look at that and they say, this is someone who's reliable. This is someone who, no matter what the difficulties of life present, they will get this thing done. They can finish what they start. And then the next thing about college and why it's for everybody is because the college degree gives options, right? So let's say you got a degree in human resources and you're in the field and you don't like it anymore. You don't want to do that. That's fine. You can go and get another job. You can go and do something else. But you are guaranteed, no matter what happens in your life, you have that degree. You have that fallback option, right? So one of the things I always tell people is when you're going to college, think about getting a certificate while you're in college, right? So go and get something that you can fall back on, something, you know, electrician, plumbing, CDL license, security guard, you know, notary, you know, like just get a certificate. Real estate, there's all kinds of certificates that you can get real quick. You know, quick in the sense that it's like a year, maybe 2 years, and you got a nice little certificate, nice little cushion to fall back on. So now you have a certificate and you have a degree and you can go out and do whatever you want to do. And you know that if you need a job, you can get a job with your degree. And even if, let's say I have a degree in software engineering and I don't want to do that anymore. Now I want to get into the medical field, right? I want to be a nurse or something like that, right? I can still essentially use my degree to kind of get more money in the nursing field. So they might say, well, listen, you're not a nurse, so, you know, we want to pay you the lowest amount of money. I can be like, oh, hey, you know, I got a degree, so I'm a pretty fast learner. I'm skilled. I know how to use a computer, et cetera, et cetera. I can still provide benefit to the company, even though my position is not the position that I went to school for, right? And if you know how to talk and smooth your way around the edges, then this will work. You will be able to do this, right? And the next thing, right, that I want to touch on really quickly, right, is two major things. One, people will say, well, when I got a degree, I can't find no job in my field, in my area, right? So when you get your degree, you have to be willing to move. That's a big thing that people don't understand. If you get a degree in nursing, right, and you live in a town where there's only one hospital, maybe that hospital ain't got no jobs for you. You have to be willing to move, leave your town and go somewhere else in order to get the money that you might be trying to get. So one of the things that I plan on doing is as soon as I get my degree, I'm applying for jobs all over America. If I could get a work at home job, that'll be great. But if not, I'm just going to apply all over America. And whoever's offering me the best amount of money based on their location, because that's another thing. You don't want to move to a state where you're thinking, okay, well, I'm making $60,000 a year in this state with this job, only to find out that you got to pay state tax and federal tax, and there's like another tax. So your money is really not $60,000. It's more like $40,000, something like that. In which case, you could have stayed where you're at and make $50,000, which after taxes would have still brought you down to like $40,000. So you have to think, you have to have these things in your mindset, right? And then the other part about college that people will cry about is, well, I can't afford it. I can't afford to go to college. I don't have no money, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? How am I going to pay for college? I don't want to get student loan debts. You don't have to take out student loans to go to college. That is a huge misconception. That is not true at all. If you want to go to college, all you got to do is financial aid, scholarships. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Financial aid and scholarships will help you when it comes to going to college. So definitely you can do that. You can also pay for college yourself. Take your money and pay for your own classes yourself when it comes to going to college, right? One of the main benefits about going to college is going to be the social connections that you build and make. You're gonna make social connections with people that you didn't even know you could meet in your life. And these connections could help you later on down the line. You can meet somebody in college today, and when you both graduate, they get a job somewhere and they hit you up. Hey bro, did you get a job yet? And you're like, no, I'm still looking. And they're like, well, hey, my company's hiring. I could put in a word for you, get you in there. Boom, now you got a job. The second great thing about college that I would suggest for everybody is that's like the best place to find a wife or a spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever you're looking for at college, because this person has their future in mind, so they want more out of life, and they might be going to school for the same reasons as you or similar field as you, or maybe they're not. Maybe I'm dating a nurse and I'm going to school for, computers. But either way, we both will have careers. We both will be able to help each other. And on top of that, they'll understand your schedule. They'll understand when you text them and they're like, hey, you want to go out to dinner? And you're like, no, I got to really catch up on this schoolwork. They come over. They're in your room doing schoolwork, you're in the living room doing schoolwork, and at least they're there, so if you get a little bored or you got a little itch that you need scratching, you can go over there, scratch your itch, and then get back to your schoolwork, and everybody's happy. You know what I mean? So these are just things to keep in mind when it comes to college and going to school, and I really, really thought that this is something that not enough people think about and talk about, because to me, everyone should go to college. College is for all of us. It's extended learning. With that being said, let's all keep in mind that we all out here trying to do the same thing, guys. Just be happy and survive. Y'all stay blessed. Go to school.